Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Saturn Junkyard. I am a virtuous schlub, and today we're going to mix things up a little bit. I know a lot of people have been talking about and playing Sonic R within the community over the last couple of weeks. I know we currently, at least at the time of this recording, have a challenge open for people to post their best times on, I think, any track with any character. Which a lot of people are participating in. So that's cool to see. And I figured, hey, what the hell? I'm not doing anything better right now, so I might as well get in on the action as well. And it's been a little while since I played this. I did play through the first level a little bit the other day, but tonight I figured I'd just jump in and spend a little time exploring the game's courses, do a little sightseeing, maybe a little Virtua tourist action, I guess you could say. Do a little racing too. I probably won't be doing that quite as competently as I would be if I wasn't trying to talk to myself or talk to you guys while doing this. But certainly I figured it was worth taking a few moments to observe what the game does and talk about some of the things I appreciate and find interesting about it. Also some critiquing. I know this is an incredibly divisive game, and with good reason, honestly. It's far from a perfect game, and I'm sure it's far from what people or many fans of the Saturn at the time wanted out of a Sonic experience for their console, particularly in late '97 when the Saturn was clearly ailing, and fans were probably a little bitter that they didn't get a mainline Sonic game. And so, upon seeing that it happened to be a racing game of all things, I'm sure that wasn't the top of everybody's list. But with that, I figured let's just get into the action. So we will. And here are the modes. You have your Grand Prix, time attack, options. What options do we got here? Got your difficulty, ghost for time trial, times, vocals, which were done lovingly by T.J. Davis. The soundtrack was composed by Richard Jacques, and so between the two, I feel like this is one of the most unique game soundtracks I've ever heard, and I find it incredibly endearing. Others might call it grating. Many others may fall somewhere in between, but honestly, I really like this game, and I feel like the soundtrack complements everything perfectly. It just has the right amount of cheese for the situation. So let's jump into the Grand Prix. Got a few characters at the start. Of course, Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Amy. You got Robotnik, but he's locked right now. I gotta say really quickly, I really love the aesthetic design of these characters. In some sense, it really is a shame that the Saturn didn't get a mainline Sonic game that was able to star. This. I just love how this Sonic had just a basic polygonal makeup, and it was perfect. And you had a few games he appeared in where like the Sonic Jam, the 3D level. Oh, it kicked me back out. I took too long to select a character. And so you got a little glimpse of that. Obviously, this game, the unlockable present in Christmas Nights, where you're able to run around as Sonic. I'm not sure if it was exactly the same character model. It might have been a little more rudimentary than this, but honestly, I just love the look of this Sonic, and I wish more we did have a chance to see more of him in this form, particularly since we would eventually see the modernized version start to appear in Sonic Adventure, and I just really wasn't as big of a fan of that one. But maybe a lot of that had to do with the voice acting, who knows. Okay, we got some courses, just 4 of them which are unlocked at the outset. course, you have the obligatory resort island, your island tropical forest area. So, what the hell? Let's do that one first. I like these loading screens too. It's kind of cool to have a little metallic reflection. I don't remember seeing that too much in a lot of Saturn games. Ooh. All right, off to a pretty good start. I might not bother trying to find all the emeralds or doing anything like that. Oh, I should probably help to jump there. I think I'll just explore these stages at my leisure, or race if I feel like racing. Whoops. Sometimes I can make that. So these are pretty quick laps, but what's really cool is that these are very complex stages. So I'll just go through this way. So there's a lot of shortcuts, a lot of alternate routes, and a lot of landmarks, a lot of things that kind of set, that set the, that just or help define unique areas of the course, like this loop-de-loop and this cave structure right here. And the bridge. You can go behind the waterfall, collect the coins. There's this little ruins here, which is kind of a nice touch. I know there's another coin out there, but I'm a little... let's go through here. I think there's an emerald waiting for us. Sure is. Oh, fuck. Okay, well that is unfortunate. Oh well, we'll just keep it going. Okay, well, I'm not doing very well in this one. Got third place. Kind of messed shit up on that last lap there, so whatever. Sonic's still happy. That's cool. Good for him. You got no Chaos Emeralds. Yep, that's about right. Now the Radical City course, I remember this as one of my absolute favorite stages. I think it was built a little more for pure speed than the other courses in this game. It's a little more spread out. Plus, it has a lot of cool details for the town itself, and it really, I don't know, it just has a lot of cool little elements that make it a really neat space to explore and run around in. Starts off with like this little cave structure, which is interesting. The rock face can drop down there. I might do that on subsequent laps. It's like a little shortcut here. I almost always go that way. And a little pinball machine. Actually, let's. I don't really care about winning at this point. It's kind of fun. You can bounce off all of these little elements. There we go. Wait, can I just... Hold on. I can't jump backwards. That's... Yeah, so the controls of this game are very... there's Sonic's face all over the place there. The controls are very racy. Racing, like, not racy, but you know what I mean. You hold B and it accelerates, and you don't really have your free movement that you would typically have in a platformer, of which this isn't one, so that's hardly surprising. You just hold B to go, essentially, and then you can jump, and the shoulder buttons are very useful in this game. You can, well, actually, you almost need them. It plays a lot like Wipeout, honestly. I think that's the closest comparison I can probably make for this game. It's just a very, it leans very heavily on your ability to brake around corners, and so you use the shoulder buttons to kind of stabilize yourself. In fact, right now I'm only using the shoulder buttons, and they work pretty well, particularly if you don't want to make any major movements. You just want to course correct a little bit. Fuck it, let's just go down here. So this is really cool. You got a little town here that they have fully rendered. Kind of love those details. While I'm sure Knuckles appreciates me letting him go ahead there. Whoops. I'm really all over the place on this. Let's see if we can beat him. I love this little area. It's like kind of a little casino. It's just a really bright, vibrant thing capped by that little slot machine there. Oh, that is unfortunate. Yep, I lost. I've never quite figured out which of those, whether that shortcut there or whether the long way with the speed boost is quicker. But one of these days I'll have to just figure it out. Fuck it, let's try that again. I gotta redeem myself. I can't let Knuckles get the better of me. No hard feelings, Knuckles. This course is a friendly rivalry, but it is a rivalry nonetheless. Actually, let's go a little bit down this path. I don't think I've done that yet. Kind of takes you through another part of a little neighborhood, which is pretty cool. There's like this little building that's under construction. For some reason, there's just a reactor right in the middle of town. Seems pretty, I don't know, it just seems like a lawsuit waiting to happen. Especially if there's any risk of like nuclear meltdowns or just general cancer-causing agents that it could be contaminating the city water supply with. But other than that, they look cool. So just extremely colorful. I think it embodies a lot of what the Sonic, particularly like the Casino Night Zone and those types of. I think it has a very similar color palette this stage to. What is it? The Carnival Act or something? The Zone, Carnival Zone, and Sonic 3. I'm actually can't remember what the name of that was. All right, well I won. So suck it, Knuckles. Regal Ruin. This is pretty cool course in its own right. It's very complicated. I think it's one of the most just intricate courses. It just has a lot of different shortcuts and a lot of different areas you can explore. Some of them are more efficient than others. I really like the sunset kind of hues of it and the orange rock and all of the statues and ruiny things. It's pretty cool. Oh yeah, I don't have enough rings for that. Oh, there's Knuckles. Alright guys, go around me, go around me. The other thing that made this game, or I guess the main thing that made this game so unique, was that it's not just a racing game. You know, so far I've just been playing it straight through to get through the courses, but there are a few objectives that you want to complete in order to unlock all the characters and to see everything. And in each course you have 5 coins that are hidden away in different paths. So you want to. What's really cool about that is it forces you to play through the course and explore all of its shortcuts to be able to find all of those coins. And then once you do, I can't remember if that. I think once you get those, and as long as you still come in first, then you face off against one of the hidden characters, which you can unlock in a one-on-one battle. And then there's also Chaos Emeralds, which you can pick up as well. And I think those will obviously unlock Supersonic. Well, that was fun. Oh, I didn't realize I won. I thought, wow, okay. Do I have this on easy mode? Huh. I got the Chaos Emerald. So, yeah, this is kind of the game in a nutshell. Um, I think it's definitely not everybody's cup of tea, and I don't really blame people for holding that opinion in the slightest, because apart from the expectations of it not being a real Sonic game, as I mentioned earlier, it's also just a weird game. As you're kind of seeing, it's a racing game, but it's also about exploration, and it's not really about, even though you're Sonic and it's Sonic themed, and you would expect that a game centered around such a character to be very, or at least a racing game to be very speed centric. Um, you don't really get that with this game, particularly with this level is a good example. There are just a lot of there's just going to be a lot of little nooks and crannies and paths that really slow your momentum, and you're not going to be able to exert the same sense of speed that you would expect to have in other games or other racing games, which seems a little antithetical to the point of playing Sonic. A lot of people also criticize the controls. They do take a lot of getting used to. I haven't played this or at least extensively in a while, so I'm just kind of running all over the place and forgetting where stuff is. But it really does take some getting used to. So you almost do have to treat it like Wipeout, so you can use the shoulder buttons in accordance to turning on the corners. But even beyond that, it's just, I don't know. I think there's an argument to be made that there just isn't much here. It's a beautiful game, and you can tell a lot went into milking the Saturn for all it could do at this point. I mean, the detail in these courses and the texture quality and just the speed of everything when it does go fast is really impressive. But to that end, you could definitely tell that Traveler's Tales made a lot of concessions when it came to content. I mean, this is the fourth course. I mean, I've only been playing this for like 15 minutes or so, and we've already seen 4 of the 5. We've already seen 80% of the game. So that's, you can, and it really doesn't take very long to play through. You can beat this in an hour or so and complete, unlock everything.
Ready, set, go!
I always thought it was weird that every character could spin dash. For some reason, I always felt that would be a thing that only Sonic could do. It just seems like a very Sonic thing with his spines or quills or whatever, and it made sense as a mechanic that he would be able to spin dash. But in Sonic 2, when they introduced that, Tails could do it too, and he could do it just as well, it seemed, even though he doesn't really have that natural weaponized backside that Sonic does. So it just seems kind of weird that Tails would be able to do the same spin dash move with the same degree of effectiveness as Sonic would. And of course, Knuckles, when he was introduced, he was able to do it as well. It just kind of seemed odd to me. But I guess Sonic can, he's still special. Ooh, I did win. Cool.
Ready, set, go!
Oh. For some reason I thought Tails could propel himself over the water. I guess not. Wow, he is a touchy mofo. Guess I'm so used to playing as Sonic where his handling is very slow and sluggish compared to the other characters. Kind of like that better, actually. Tails is really has sensitive handling here. Oh, and of course I'm last. How the hell? I haven't been doing that badly, have I? You've probably noticed the music is quite infectious, for better or worse. I really like it. I think it's kind of I don't know. It just has a energy that matches the game perfectly. It's so cheesy, but it's got like that dance beat, and it's like a what techno pop. I don't know what you'd call that, but it's just such a weird blend that you don't really see in a lot of video games. It's not my favorite course. I really do think the city level is my favorite, and then this might be my second favorite, I guess. Okay, so at this point we have got placed first in all of the stages. I believe, yep, that unlocked Radiant Emerald. So that's pretty cool. That's just one thing you can unlock by doing that. Otherwise, you can collect all of the coins. I think David from the Shiro podcast, he actually put together a couple of videos. One where he does a coin run, so he goes and gets all of the coin locations, and then another one where he does the same for the Chaos Emeralds. So that if you're looking for some pointers of how to play this game competently, which is certainly not what you're getting from this video. Yeah, go ahead and check out David's posts. I'm not sure if they put them on Facebook or YouTube, but they definitely on the Shiro page, and he also posted them to the Saturn Junkyard's community or group page as well. There's just always so much stuff there. It's hard to look for anything specific that I remember seeing, just because it's always so active, which is really cool. I just wish Facebook kind of did a better job of with their groups function. I wish they did a better job of archiving and organizing and making it so you could group discussions into themes and topics, and it just makes it really challenging to have to just sift through your news feed to see everything that's been going on that you would want to pay attention to. I feel like I miss a lot of stuff just by virtue of the chaotic mess that is Facebook's group format. But that said, Saturn Junkyard is an awesome community, and honestly, I'm a part of a lot of retro communities, or at least I'm members of them, and Saturn Junkyard, even though I'm a little biased, being working for the site, I feel like it really is one of the best retro communities I've ever seen. The amount of enthusiasm and all of the cool shit that people are working on and playing, and just the humor, and everybody's just like really cool. Shout out to you guys for making the community such an awesome place. Another thing I didn't touch on is the replays, which are pretty cool because you get a little bit of a neat little like cinematized.
At the end of the day, it's a race of 3 laps. Let's watch
I don't
that
know.
one again.
It's just like a really cool camera angles and stuff. Oh, cool. It did give me the ending. Even though I did not deserve it. I know I can't remember who it is from Traveler's Tales, but they have a pretty active. They're pretty active on Twitter, and they do and they have a Facebook channel where they go through and talk about a lot of the, I don't know, just how they were able to do pull off some of the tricks and all of the technical stuff at the time during the 16 and 32-bit era with the technology they had. One of the videos they did was on Sonic 3D Blast, the Genesis version, and they talked about how the intro to that game, which was kind of a CG intro, they were able to fit it onto a cart, and it took up a ton of space too. But through the various techniques they used for compression and sizing the image or the video to not take up the full screen, and they had the color techniques where it only used like a handful of colors, and you could kind of tell that as well. It looked like everything was blue and orange. But it was really cool, just them talking about all of the concessions they had to make with the hardware and to get that to work on a Genesis cart as a CG cinematic, which was really cool. It was pretty cool. Oh, Bernie Stoller got a shout out. That's, I don't know. By the time the 97, I mean, this game came out and they probably didn't do a lot of promotion for it. Oh, whoops. Well, that's not helping anybody. I like all the details to it, the flickies and all of that stuff. It's just, I don't know, adds a lot of character to the... Whoa, that was bad. Forget about the rain. Alrighty. That worked. One of the things that David from the Shiro podcast had mentioned, we had kind of gone back and forth a little bit on some of the comments. Can't remember what thread it was, but it was a really interesting conversation where we were kind of talking about a lot of the parallels that a game like Sonic R has with Sega as a company. And that, you know, when we think about Sega, it's you know, we have such a, it's very difficult for at least for me to talk about that company while separating my own nostalgia and biases that color my opinion of it, because, you know, Sega is such an, you know, they've made so many incredible games throughout the years, and their body of work, in my mind, and surely probably the minds of many other fans, other Sega fans, is that it's unparalleled. Like the level of innovative projects and just like kind of the vibrant nature of its games invoke this level of nostalgic attachment that really is difficult to capture as consistently as Sega did across, you know, the various generations. And when you think about a game like Sonic R, it really embodies a lot of what made Sega Sega. The irony being that it wasn't even developed within Sega; farmed it out to uh, they farmed it out to Traveler's Tales. But nevertheless, this is a game that has just an incredible amount of charm. It's super vibrant. Um, you have like these really unique environments that are fun to explore. The attention to detail is fantastic. I think it does so much right, and honestly, it really is a fun game to play. But that said, it's an incredibly flawed game, and oh my god, I just realized you can, by using the shoulder buttons, you can actually holy crap, you can zoom in and out. This is incredible. I've been playing this game for how many years? I had no freaking clue that you could do this. Holy shit. Well, there you go. Whoa. There you go, folks. That's awesome. Wait, how small do they get? A little bit smaller. That's so cool. Alright, I gotta move on. Otherwise, I would just keep doing this for hours. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, I mean, I don't know, Sega at its core, with all of the things it did right, was still a tremendously flawed company. Certainly from a market standpoint or marketing standpoint and a just general business management competency. Yeah, I mean, I just feel like Sega, in a lot of respects, had, for all of its highs and lows, we still look so fondly on that company as having produced all these amazing works, and just because it was a profoundly inept company from a business and marketing standpoint doesn't make the things we enjoyed about it any, it doesn't diminish any of that necessarily, at least in so much as we were able to experience the games. Sega made a lot of mistakes and they were deeply flawed, but they're still an incredible company. And with that parallel, I kind of view Sonic R in a very similar fashion. It was, and David did bring up this point the other day, like there's just a lot of parody there, where this game did so much right that it was, it was just a gorgeous game. I mean, look at the visuals here. It's freaking beautiful. You can't really. I'd be hard pressed to think of another Saturn game that I felt did the hardware this much justice, or at least with this aesthetic template. It was a very Sega-y game. And his point was that it's essentially it's everything Sega was as a company, but distilled into a single game. It's so vibrant, and it has so much charm, and it's fun, and it does all of these things right. Yet, it fails on many fundamental levels, just as an experience, and it's going to rub rub people the wrong way for a variety of reasons. Yeah, Sonic R was an incredibly divisive game, and I wouldn't necessarily blame anybody who harbors ill will towards it. It certainly did a lot wrong. It doesn't have a ton of content. It's a little, the controls are not super intuitive. It wasn't a real Sonic game, which I'm sure in itself gave people or a lot of fans reason to despise it. And it's cheesy. It doesn't really take itself super seriously. The music is, I guess you could consider it obnoxious. I love it. Well, in so much as it fits the game. I don't think I would really listen to it just by itself. I don't know, maybe. And then, it's a racing game, and it's a very weird one. It's incredibly unorthodox take on the genre, um, and it didn't really connect, I think, with a lot of people who were expecting maybe a Mario Kart type experience, or at least a game that focused more on speed and a little less on the exploration elements. Were probably thrown off a lot by the fact that Sonic R really did focus on more on exploration rather than sheer speed. And I think in many ways that is a very valid criticism of the game. But honestly, at the end of the day, its unorthodox nature is one of the things I loved most about it. It's more than just a racing game to me, and I think it dared to create it dared to give the player a different purpose other than to just get through the courses as fast as they could, or to beat their opponents. I mean, it was really about just the structure of having all of these things to find and collect really did make it feel like it was operating on a lot of different planes at the same time, for better or worse. I mean, it just added a little bit of complexity to an experience that you wouldn't normally associate with some of the mechanics that it implemented. It's a racing game first and foremost, sure, but the fact that it laid out all of these unlockables and things to find that forced you to explore all of the nooks and crannies of the course was just a really innovative thing that you just didn't see a lot of racing games do at the time, and even since. I mean, even today, like, you just don't have a lot of games that worked quite in the same way. All right, everyone. Well, with that, I would like to just thank you for watching this video, and I would like to remind everybody to make it real and feel the sunshine while you're living in the city. And you're my diamond in the sky. Yeah.